Hi, welcome back to AuntieTV. This is AuntieTV. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Let me say I am, as always, humbled and honored that you decided to spend your precious time watching this video. So again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now, tonight we're going to be discussing 22 traits that describes a woman of value. But before we get into that, let me say this. I am struggling big time doing videos. I'm going to increase my video production, and I imagine the more and more I do, I'm going to become more comfortable and adjust and adapt at some point. But again, I am not a video person. I am not a photo person. I'm the one trying to get out of the picture. And here I am doing videos. So that is taking it even a step further. But as always, the Most High has his way of doing some hilarious stuff, because the very things that you want to run away from is the very things he'll push you in to get out of your comfort zone. So thank you guys for bearing with me. I reviewed some previous videos and I said about 500 times. So I'm going to try my best to be conscious to not saying as much as I did. If a few slip out, don't hold that against me. I will get it together as things progress and move forward. But on that note, let's get started on the conversation. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but we're going to talk about the 22 traits. And tonight, I just want to identify them. Moving forward in another video, in another platform, another format, we're going to take a deeper dive to discuss those traits, because I think it's truly, truly crucial for us to not only understand them, but we've got to learn how to master them and use them in unison, on a greater scale, so that we can get that balance of ourselves. Because we are truly, truly unique and beautifully designed and wonderfully made. There's no mistake in it. So I believe, as many of us know, when you look at it from a global perspective, we all have heard the story, whether you believe it or not. We've heard the story of how humanity began. And the Most High had created the earth, and then he created man. And from man, he created woman, because he saw developing and designing man was a beautiful design in its own right. But he realized that it was not good that he be alone. So he decided to make woman. And from his rib, we were pulled. And it was complete. Now, I always like to say that as a joke, that the Most High finally got it right. Once he brought us into the picture and he got it finished, we completed the project, so to speak. But I know a lot of men ain't gonna laugh at that. But anyway, moving forward. So on that note, when you look at the union of man and woman, both are heavily needed in order for the other to complete their role, in order for the other to serve their purpose by the grace. A man, we all know anatomy, a man fertilizes the egg, but the woman is the bearer of that purpose. It's through her womb that purpose is made. And it is through her womb that humanity comes into manifestation by the grace. So women, we are a lot more unique and a lot more valuable than society and people want to lead on to believe, and especially in today's times. So I want to take it I want to go into the 22 traits. I want to list them, briefly discuss them. And then, as I stated in another video, we're going to go on a deeper dive to get deeper into further describing and further understanding those traits. So number one, she's spiritual. That is, again, my personal, and let me state this disclaimer. I will never try to put my beliefs on anybody on this channel, but I will always be strong and take a firm stand on saying that the Most High, he is my breath and he is my life. And he's the reason that I live by grace. So when I speak, I will always speak from that perspective, because that is how I came to be who I am today by the grace, through all the experiences, which basically, bottom line, equates to your wisdom. So with that out of the way, spirituality to me, I truly, truly believe that we are human beings. I'm so sorry. We are spirit beings having a human experience. So the spirit is what is really the crux of us, not the flesh, but the spirit. And if we are not in tune and in touch with that inner being of ourselves, we become zombies, walking shells by the grace. And that's not good for anybody, because the woman is the center to a degree of the traffic of how humanity comes about. Every single person on this earth came by way of the womb of a woman. So again, you do your homework and do the math mentally on the depth of importance in regards to our significance here on earth. Number 2, trustworthy and loyal. I don't think I need to go too much further on describing that, how critical it is to be trustworthy and the loyalty. Those are just 2 key traits. And I think anybody, men as well, need to carry those traits. Number 3, constant in giving love. We are the beacons of love. Our Father, Abba. And let me say this again, the Most High, He is love. So when you say that, that has such an infinite depth of meaning, and it's unconditional. And I don't care what anybody says, love is what makes this world function. And unfortunately, we get into many situations and many battles, and our earth, our society, the globe is in a state of distress. It's chaotic. And if you really stop and think about it, if everybody just took the time to marinate right now, what's absent in a lot of the scenarios that is causing most of the chaos, and that is the absence of love. So on that note, we're going to go to the next one. 4, diligent and industrious. Diligent, we are perseverers. You know, we pursue, we pioneer in a lot of things, and that is critical in things growing and progressing. So diligent and industrious. Number 5, thrifty and wise with that dinero. I know I just said something that's going to make a lot of y'all cringe, because some of us, we got a spending problem. That's not good. But again, we're not going to get into it tonight. But again, you must be wise with the finances. We generally become the accountants of the household. And if the accounting is off, everybody knows business, personal, etc. There's no profits if your accounting is not together. So anyway, moving forward. Number 6, a self-starter, which is self-explanatory. We don't need anybody to really tell us what to do when we understand our duties and responsibilities in our position. It's just something that's innate in us, an innate ability, and we basically just are able to move and take it from there. So a self-starter. Number 7, an entrepreneur. We're business-minded. I know it's a cheer from all the boss females out there. And let me say this, from one boss female to another, kudos to you. There's nothing wrong. Matter of fact, it is biblical that, again, we have that business mind and that we are entrepreneurs. However, let me say this, and then we're going to get off of this and dive into it deeper later. But ladies, let me say this. While we can be CEO in them streets, but when we get home, and if you got that king, that man, and I said that specifically for a reason, I didn't say a male. If you got that king and that man at home, you got to learn how to transition from that CEO to the VP, and we're going to move on from that. I want to discuss that later. Number 8, willing to work hard and smart. And this latter, listen, I think at one point in our lives or another, whether it's working, cleaning the house, being a mother, etc., the working hard part is not an issue for us. We will do what we need to do. However, the smart part, we got to get that. And smart comes from wisdom. It comes from knowledge of something. And again, you got to put the two together so that we are effective in anything that we put our hands to by the grace. So the next one, number 9, willing to work long hours if needed. Enough said. Generally speaking, we're going to do what we have to do to get the job done one way or another by the grace. So if we got to put that time in and commit, then generally that's what we do by the grace. So Number 10, willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. And I say that within reason. Got to set boundaries always. Have your limitations, but at the same time, your mission is to accomplish whatever goal it is you set. So again, we'll get further into that, but again, willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. Number 11, we are rare, valuable, and unique. We are not common at all. And this, again, we're going to go deeper later, but I just want to kind of marinate and I want you to hear this. There's a lot of women on this earth. If we tapped into who we were designed to be, we all come here prepackaged with gifts, abilities, talents, etc., which make us rare, valuable, and unique. But if we don't understand those traits about ourselves, this is where we fall short to not only meeting the expectations of who we are by the grace, but also our contribution to society as a whole. We fail in so many aspects. And so this is why it's important that we go on this journey together, that we as women start to understand the depth of us, and that we realize how important and how critical we are to the ecosystem, to the balance of humanity. Number 12, visionaries. We have insight. It's almost prophetic to a degree. I'm going to use that and segue and use another word that a lot of us can all kind of latch on to, and that is intuition. Now listen, I know the minute I said that, some of y'all, most of y'all, your first thought of intuition, you go straight into, I knew he wasn't no good at the blah. But anyway, that intuition goes beyond that man though. That intuition is pure. It's a gift. And it's that gut feeling. You know what you know. You don't know how you know all the time. You don't know. You may not have witnessed it physically, but you know. That is a gift from the Most High. It's a compass. And we've got to learn how to utilize that smart and use it in wisdom for the progression of a multitude of things. Not just catching that man in his no good act. But anyway, using it for other things. And again, that's that insight. That's that vision. That we're able to foresee things. And in that foreseeing, we're able to prep. That's wisdom. That's the Most High giving us that ability to do those things. So women, again, critical. Number 13, I'm going to say this word, but we're not going to get into it because it's too much to get into tonight. 13 is domestic. Okay, we're going to get off that, but I'm going to say it one more time. Domestic, that is a part of us, and we got to own it and accept it and love on it and do it to the best of our ability. But again, we're going to move on. Number 14, the backbone to a leader, to a king, to a man by the grace. Now, anybody out there that has ever had back issues, you know once your back goes out, it's a wrap. Nothing is getting accomplished. That back is so critical to the physical stature of your body, for movement, for anything that you do. And it's not until your back goes out that you start realizing how important your back is to your mobility. Women, we are the backbones to our men, to our families. And that is critical to the movement of our families. And if we out of whack, ain't nothing getting accomplished. And so we have to really understand, again, our significance and our importance to the function of humanity, to the functionality of humanity. All right, number 15, enterprising and resourceful. That is just, we're solution driven. To every problem, that woman, mama, sister, whoever, we always have, somebody got an answer. Don't get a council of women at the table. Somebody is going to come up with the solution to the problem. We're solution driven. We're solution producers. Naturally, it's innate ability in us. So again, that is way more valuable than we really understand. Moving on to the next one. 16, balanced in our emotions. We are not easily influenced. Okay. Yes, we are emotional, but we should not be driven by our emotions. We should use it as it is supposed to be used. Our emotions are an alarm system. It alerts us to a problem or to something going on. But it should never be the vehicle to drive us to do anything that gets us out of character. We've got to be better managers and be able to control our emotions so that we master them and not become slaves to them. Okay, so I'm gonna move on. 17, wise and kind. Women, we are naturally equipped to love and to nurture, and kindness should just exude from us on a primary basis, on a priority basis. Now, with that said, do we have our moments? I'm not gonna sit up here and lie to you and say I have always been kind, because I haven't. I think one of the things that gets me in trouble most is my mouth. However, kindness, it goes a long, long way, and we've got to work to get that part of us magnified on a regular basis. There's a time for everything. So I'm not going to sit up here and ever say that there isn't a time to put kindness away. However, it should be one of the main things that we disseminate to others just on a regular basis is kindness. Number 18, duty conscious and respectful of order and roles. That is so important for us to get an understanding and get a grip of. We've got to be, without order, nothing really can produce. Now, think about society if we didn't have law and order. If we didn't have, and I'm not saying that it all functions properly, but the mechanics of order, everybody knowing their duty and their responsibility, generally speaking, the principle is perfection. It's just the people that put it into play, they're the ones that have to become keepers of those significant positions and roles that we have. So again, we've got to know and be respectful of order and roles. And again, and I want to kind of segue on something. And I know a lot of people may disagree, and let it be a healthy, constructive conversation if it has to be. I personally do not believe that men and women are equal. I do not. And here's why. I didn't say one was more significant or more valuable than the other. However, we are not equal. Men are men and women are women. We are humans, but we are both designed differently. We serve different functions and different roles, and we have different responsibilities. So when you say one is equal to one, that's equality. That's the same. We are different, and I think we have to learn to really, really get a healthy respect for accepting our differences. There are things that we as humans do commonly, and we do them well. And yes, we share that with men. We don't share 100% everything with men. Men do not nurse children. We do. We have the components. We have the womb. We have the vagina. All of that is beautifully designed to serve a purpose. So in those regards, we are not equals, but we are respectively both needed in order for this thing to come into play by the grace. So with that said, I'm going to move on. Number 19, we are a blessing to as well as blessed by our families. And I think that's enough said. When we really are in our greatest state of being, we are going to bless our families and then some. And you can look at every healthy family that the multitude of women exist in. And when the women pull together, there is no match in how things run. And how things come out, and whether it's us cooking for the family, etc., etc. When we pull together and when we do things, we do them well by the grace. So again, there's a blessing in that, and we bless really humanity. We bless society if you really stop and think about it. And so again, that is something again we're going to discuss more in depth on later. Number 20, not satisfied with just being average. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I'm going to just say this. We should always be striving for not just enough, but we should always, always be pushing for that greatness, for that best. So with that said, I'm gonna move on. Number 21, praiseworthy. Enough said. And I don't say that in a sense of arrogance. I say that when you perform and do what you do, and you do it to your best ability, and you do it well, you're gonna get that praise. And so we should always be striving to be in that place. And it's not for the purpose of the praise. It's just for the purpose of living our best life by the grace. Number 22 and the final on this is compassionate. Again, that taps into that love. That taps into, we are beacons of love. And so from that love comes compassion. We consider others and we look out for others. And that is that nature that we have, that the Most High has designed and made us beautifully to do those things. So moving forward in this, I want to do, and again, in the next slide, I'm going to quickly put up those 22 traits just so you can review them and marinate on them and do your self-check homework and identify those areas that you are strong and you're like, yeah, I got that on lock. But also look and examine and see those areas that you can actually grow in, the areas that you kind of find yourself weak in, because when you look at all of these things, we all are equipped with it. It's what we decide and what we choose to do with it, and whether or not we have the knowledge of or awareness that exists in us. And we've got to learn to master these things and have them work in unison so we can, again, live our best life by the grace. I don't think He's ever designed us to do anything short of that. But on that note, moving forward, so I want to close on this. I want to say for the record, ladies, these things are pointed out to state that we are more valuable than we understand. And then a lot of people today, I know they try to diminish the importance of a woman, but we have to know who we are before we expect others to honor that. As far as the men, I don't want to ever use this to become arrogant or haughty, to cancel out men, because you got to humble yourself to realize without the men, there would be no need for the women. So there is a need for each other in this. And with that beautifully thing said, Auntie is getting ready to close this video. I hope and pray that you learned or got something or got a takeaway from this. Please, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. In the next video, I would probably like to, and I'm kind of thinking if we're going to go deeper in the next video, but if we do, we're going to kind of get into some of the weaknesses of us as women and start dealing with some of the things that impact us, basically, to be able to live up to our best standards of value and, and grow from that point. But on that note, you guys, I love you by the grace, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next video. Have a good night. All right. Bye.
Auntie, go, go, auntie, go, auntie, go. Putting in more than the things we see. I know there's two sides of everything. That's what I cut for you. Ain't no limit to what I does for ya. Generations of our culture opens up. Every day I'm growing and it's going up. Auntie TV, it's